Happy Chinese New Year. It is Year of the Snake, and I didn't know this until someone told me, but I am also a snake, and I'm not one for horoscopes, but this person was like, do you want to know what your horoscope says about you, seeing that you are a snake and this is Year of the Snake? And I was like, yeah, go ahead. This stuff is meaningless and whatever, but let's just have a look at it. And I read my horoscope for this year, and it's looking good for me. And it's funny, the people I know, including myself, that are like, discredit horoscopes and think it's a load of BS. Say whatever you want about it, but then you read it, and if it says things that you align with, or if it says things that you want to hear or that you want to happen for yourself, then you're kind of like, oh, maybe they are right about that. Maybe these horoscope things are real. So, yeah, I read my horoscope for the Chinese New Year thing, and apparently, as this is the snake's year, those born under the sign are in period of empowerment and transformation. Career-wise, 2025 could bring breakthroughs, especially for snakes who are diligent and strategic in their approach. Long-term financial prospects appear strong, but it's wise to avoid high-risk investments in favor of steady, stable gains. So I read that and I was like, cool, financial prosperity this year. That's exactly what I was manifesting for myself. So there we go. Maybe horoscopes do mean something. No, I'm kidding. But it's funny how that works. It's funny how the mind works. If we discredit something, but then it happens to align with us, or it validates the things that we have within ourselves, then all of a sudden we're like, hang on a second, maybe there is something to it. So anyway, at the end of 2024, I said to myself that I wanted to focus more on commercial and industrial clients. I didn't like how heavily invested we were into the residential market. As much as our revenue is diversified with commercial, I didn't like that a large percentage of our client base and growing client base was still residential. So I said to myself, end of last year, this was like a New Year's resolution, if you will, that I wanted to purely focus on commercial and industrial clients. And we haven't really taken steps towards that. We haven't really changed the marketing approach. We haven't started doing cold outreach, because that's one thing we're going to do. We're going to be doing cold calls now and cold emailing to clients that we would like to work with that align with what we do. So like medical practices, medical clinics, that sort of thing. And we haven't done that yet. It's on the horizon, but we haven't actually taken steps towards it. And what's funny is this month, January 2025, we have had more commercial and industrial cleaning quotes than ever before. And it's like everything is just falling into alignment now, which is really, really cool. And so this month alone, we have done $500,000 worth of commercial quotes, and we have provisions to do a lot more. We've gotten 3 new clients just this week, commercial clients. They're not huge ones, but still it's a step in the right direction for where I want to head. Because the way I see it is, I'm looking back on history and recent events. I really think about COVID a lot. I think about that whole period of 2020 all the way through to 2022, or at the very least 2021. So that year really ravaged the cleaning industry. The residential market took a complete and utter nosedive. Most residential cleaning companies did not come back from that. And what was interesting is that the commercial cleaning companies actually saw an upturn in business. They saw an uptick in their revenue and sales and profit. And it's because in times of economic downturn and distress, commercial cleaning is going to prevail, because commercial cleaning is always a necessity no matter what the time. Residential, you can make an argument that it is a necessity in some cases. For example, if there is an economic downturn, you could argue that more people are cramming into the same house and more people are taking on jobs. So therefore, disposable income is slightly higher than before, but available time is less so. So cleaning at that point becomes a necessity because people simply don't have the time to do it. In times of economic boom or economic upturn, which is like, now you can make an argument for that. Some people say we're still in recession. Some people say we're headed for it. Some people say things are great. It just depends on who you talk to. It's really weird times at the moment. But in times of a good economy, cleaning is seen as a luxury in the residential sector. Commercial and industrial, however, it is always seen as a necessity depending on the industry. So commercial is just what I really want to focus on, because I think if we're going to build a long-term, recession-proof and sustainable business, that's the path that we need to go down. Residential is great, It's great cash flow. It's our bread and butter. It's what we know best, and we can just continue to scale that like no other. But all of our energy and efforts are now being directed into commercial. And it's funny how I'm not one for manifestation. Like, I was just talking about, I'm not one for horoscopes either. And I think manifestation is kind of in that same group of things that are kind of up in the air. But it is interesting how whenever you put something out into the world, it often does come back to you. So like I really put a lot of energy and a lot of thought into the idea of going more into the commercial sector and focusing more heavily into it. And even though we haven't taken any actionable steps towards it, we are fulfilling that idea and that promise. And no matter what you believe, I think it paints a very clear picture that we need to be very clear and very intentional with what we put out into the world and what we think and what we believe for ourselves. So if we want to build a great business, the things that you say to yourself, the things that you say you're going to do, what you actually do and what eventuates from that is irrelevant. But just saying what you plan to do, what your intentions are, and what your idea for the direction of the business is, these are the things that I think are more important than anything. These are the foundational beliefs that will then transcend into growth. Before any action or anything can even happen, it starts with you putting it out into the universe that you want to do something. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's happened to me so many times where I've said that I want to do something in the business. I've said that I want to do something in my life, and just focusing all my energy and thought into it, it begins to manifest in my life. And then obviously, you still have to do the right things. You still have to, if you say that you want commercial clients, it's not enough to do that. You do have to change your marketing. You have to talk to your team. You have to tell people the game plan. But without the clear idea, without the plan in the beginning, nothing will happen. So I just wanted to share that because I think we should be very intentional about what we say and what we plan for the future. So if you're unsure about what you're doing in your business at the moment, I would strongly consider, if I were you, just sitting down and writing it out, thinking about if you've been in business for a while, think about the last couple of years. If you're new to business, have a look at the industry as a whole over the last couple of years and where you are now and where you want to go, and just start to come up with a plan and a vision, and in extension to that, a mission for what you want to do and where you want to take the business. And the more clear you get with your intentions, the more clear the outcome. So hope I didn't lose any of you with that. I'm not trying to be like spiritual or anything. I'm just sharing my experience. And I find it fascinating that so many times in my life and in the business journey, I've like put something out to the universe and then I focus all of my thought and energy into it and it comes back to me. So that's the reason I want to focus more and more on commercial. It's just that I think that while the residential market is great, it's a big part of our business. It's what I built my business upon. I think in order for me to get to the next level, I do have to focus on commercial. And the thing with residential as well is that you get to a point of diminishing returns. You can build a $500,000 business purely just doing residential. You can even take it to $1 million. But to go from 1 to 2 million just doing residential, you need to do so much work. It's the same amount of work to go from 0 to 1 million that it is to go to 1 to 2 million with residential, if that makes sense, because it just isn't enough money in it. You need more management infrastructure to deal with all the people. Whereas commercial, it can take you 2 years to go from 0 to 1 million, but then the next year you can go from 1 to 2 million in like 7 days if you land the right contract, So there's magnitudes of scale to this, and there's a lot of good and bad about both. Obviously, I love the cash flow of residential. I don't like, however, the people side of it. People are canceling, complaining, all sorts of stuff. There's more liability risks. There's things getting broken, and there's a lot of variance and cleans and things that we need to learn and things we need to tell the cleaners. Whereas commercial, there is really no downside besides cash flow. Cash flow is the only issue, which is why I say it's great to have a hybrid model where you can get the cash flow from residential and reap the benefits and the rewards of commercial as well. But now we're at the point where in order for us to get to the next level, it has to be commercial. And so that's where I'm focusing all of my energy on. And I'm also thinking about, we are due for something to happen. Life is never without problems. We had COVID, and so I'm thinking, what's next? Something's going to happen, whether it be a recession or who knows, war that will affect us inadvertently or directly even. So there's a lot of things I think about, and I'm a very forward thinker, and I'm kind of pessimistic in a way that I think about the worst possible outcomes, but in a way as well that leads me to create the best possible scenarios and outcomes for the business, because I'm always planning for the worst, aiming for the best, but planning for the worst, right? So it's also why I've been so busy recently, and like I'm a little bit scatterbrained at the moment. So the podcast today is going to be a mess. I apologize. It already is a mess, but yeah, I've just got so many things on my mind at the moment, but I'm trying to keep myself honest and accountable. So I'm still here just extracting thoughts from my head and putting them onto the screen and through the audio waves. So you can listen to that, and whether you like it or not, that's up to you, I suppose. But yeah, I'm really excited for what's in store for the business now. We've had a really, really good January. We were planning for a good month, but it has been absolutely insane. And we're growing at a rate that is just unprecedented to what I ever could have thought was possible. So really excited for the future of my business. And I'm seeing a lot of people in our community inside Booked Out Cleaners as well. Everyone is just experiencing success. I was speaking to Diane, who she's been with us since the very start in there. She's just put on, I think, her first couple of employees. I was speaking to a guy named Wyatt, who's in Booked Out Cleaners, and he went from 0 to like 75K a year in 2 months. He landed some big contracts and he's off to the races. So like so many people, I haven't spoken to someone in our school community who isn't experiencing tremendous success in their own right at the moment. So it's very, very exciting time. I think 2025 is going to be an amazing, prosperous year for all of us, as long as we continue to do the right things, as long as you keep tuning into the podcast every week, as long as you keep learning and adapting to the changing environment. But there is an abundance of opportunity up for grabs this year. I strongly believe that. I think 2024 was a great year. A lot of people around me experienced a lot of success, but I think 2024 was really just setting us up for 2025 in a big way. And I haven't really experienced this any other year. From 2020 to 23, I didn't have this feeling, but now I see it. It is abundantly clear that we are experiencing a big shift in not only the industry, but the economy and society as well. It's just, there's a lot of progress happening around the world, and even just around the corner, even just here at home, there's a lot of opportunity out there, and we're experiencing that now. You just need to find your little slice of the pie. So I found mine. I'll always say this: regional areas are the best for cleaning, or any service business for that matter. If you go into a regional area, a lot of the regional cities have an older demographic. So you'll find that if you're in the cleaning industry, that if you go into a regional area with a population of sub 200,000, all the main companies there that have most of the business, they're run by people who are of the older demographic, 60, 65 plus. And do you think that these people have the same amount of drive, ambition, and energy as you if you're in your 20s, 30s, or 40s? No, obviously not. So that's what I did. I went into Bunbury, which is a city of 100,000 people, pretty sleepy city. There were 3 cleaning companies here, all owned by the older generation. They've been in business. One cleaning business in Bunbury has been in business for over 50 years. Like, how crazy is that? Anyway, so they just don't have the drive anymore. And I came in here with a fresh mind, with the eagerness to succeed, and I made it happen. So yeah, I digress. You just need to find your gap. You just need to find that little piece of the pie, that little plot of land that you can capitalize on and make something big happen. You don't need to have a big idea. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to do something that no one has ever done before. In fact, you want to do the complete opposite. You need to do what other people are doing already and just do it a little bit better, with a little bit more drive and a little bit more ambition. Anyway, circling back to my mission now, which is to make a bigger push into the commercial sector. The way we're going to do it, which is what I wanted to talk about, is cold outreach. That's all. It's going to be cold emails, cold calling, and a bit of face-to-face, in-person stuff as well. I know a few people who are experiencing a lot of success in the commercial space by doing cold calls. They just have a team of either Filipino VAs or people here in Australia that cold call businesses all around the city they operate in. Or I've got a couple of friends who are nationwide who have people who cold call pretty much any city in Australia, and then they can subcontract the work out to wherever. And I mean, they make tens of millions of dollars. It's crazy. So we're going to be doing that because it's proven to work. It's simple. And I've spoken about this. I don't know if I spoke about this in a previous episode, but I was saying that a lot of the commercial clients, a lot of commercial cleans at the moment, they're being serviced by large commercial cleaning companies that put all of their focus into sales and not into service. So they're really good at getting commercial clients, but then they drop the ball pretty much straight away and the work drops off. The clients are unhappy, but they kind of just don't bother trying to find a new a cleaner because it's hassle. They've already been through it so many times and they don't want to be burnt again. So they're like, whatever, this is acceptable, I guess. We'll just roll with the punches and keep this current contractor until something really bad happens. So what I'm saying is the bar is really low. And a lot of the time, all you have to do is call up one of these businesses and be like, hey, would you be interested in getting a free cleaning quote? And most of the time, they'll just be like, actually, yeah, we've been thinking about getting a new cleaner, or we're not happy with our current cleaners because blah, blah, blah. And you can go in for the quote, get face-to-face with them. And because they've taken that time out of their day to talk to you, they're pretty invested in it. And a lot of the time you can close that with a very high success rate. So Wyatt, who I just mentioned earlier, he's inside Booked Out Cleaners in the school. He got 2 commercial contracts by simply calling a business around town and being like, hey, so-and-so told me to call you about getting a cleaning quote, which is a lie, but it's a pretty good one. I told him that. I was like, that's a good line. I want to use that. So like you could call the medical clinic and be like, hey, I was told to call you in regards to a cleaning quote. Are you still interested in getting a cleaning quote? And they're like, yeah, sure. When are you free? And so he got a couple clients by doing that. And it's that easy. And that's my point. The residential market is, for the most part, serviced by a lot of sole traders. So a lot of cleaners who just clean by themselves. If it is a company cleaning in the residential sector, it's usually not a big company. And it's because you can't really grow a massive company just doing residential. All the big companies do commercial. And in doing that, because they're focusing so much on sales, they drop the ball on service. And a lot of commercial cleaning companies' clients are not that happy with the service they're getting. So oftentimes calling them and simply asking if they want a quote is a surefire way to get in front of them and win some business. And the best part is it's free. You don't need a team to do it. You can do it yourself. But obviously I will be leveraging my existing team to make that happen. So we're going to be focusing on that. We're going to be doing cold outreach and getting face-to-face with people, networking a bunch more, joining the Chamber of Commerce, obviously, going to a lot more events because we've already won business from a few networking events we've been to. So we're just going to do more of that, more networking, more cold outreach, and that is how we're going to grow in 2025. So it's going to be a great year. I'm sorry if this podcast was a bit of a mess. I don't even remember what I talked about for the first half of this, but I just thought, hey, I need to post something. So I thought I'd just get on here and give you a little bit of motivation and positive affirmation / thoughts, I suppose, because I really do feel that this year is going to be great for all of us. And I really just want to keep pushing that positive energy upon everyone. And like I said, putting it out into the universe, for some reason, always just finds its way back to us. So if we say we're going to have a good year and we really, truly believe it, then why wouldn't we? So yeah, it's very, very exciting times for myself. And I know it is for a lot of other people too. If you're not really sure about what the future has in store for you, then I definitely implore you to sit down and really think about where you want to take the business this year. and what you want to do, what clients you want to serve, what kind of numbers you want to hit, what money you want to make, where you want to be, what you want to do. So just think about that. And if you haven't started yet, even better. Now you know exactly how to get the ball rolling properly. Make sure you have a clear idea of what you want to do. Don't discredit past history. Look at the industry as a whole. Look at the history of other businesses. Look at businesses around you to get a clear understanding of what the market's like, even if you have no prior experience or knowledge or idea of what to do in the business. So yeah, just a bit of positivity for you this Chinese New Year. If you're like me and you're the token white friend in your Asian friend group, then this is always a great time of year because I got absolutely spoiled by my Asian friends. I went to a Chinese New Year party last night and the food was just incredible. And I don't know, something about Chinese culture is really, really cool to me. I find it fascinating and I think it's really beautiful. But anyway, I digress. Keep working hard, but don't work hard without a clear vision and mission. So if you don't have that already, make sure you nut that out and get that in order because you need it. It's important. And I apologize again if this was a bit of a mess of an episode. I had zero notes and zero idea what I was even going to talk about until I pressed record. And then all of a sudden I was like, Chinese New Year, that's today or tomorrow when this goes live. So I'm going to start with that and see where it goes. And here we are. So yeah, that's what's happening in my world. Make sure you stay tuned to obviously this podcast every week and my Instagram where I post a lot of updates. You'll get a lot more out of me on Instagram than TikTok. And so you can follow my journey this year as I really, really go all in on the commercial space and hopefully double my team size and double or triple revenue and experience a lot of growth, which will have a downstream effect, hopefully for all of you, because I'll be able to share my knowledge and experience and mistakes as well, because I like to be transparent and we can all benefit because as always, a rising tide raises all ships. So let's remember that it is easier to do this as a group and with other people who can keep us accountable and to mentor us and show us the way, because it's a lot harder to do this by yourself. So with that being said, thanks for listening to another episode of Self-Made. I've got a lot of exciting episodes that I want to make. I just haven't really made the time for it yet. So over the next couple of weeks, there will hopefully be some bangers being posted. I'll be doing some more interviews and getting more cool people on and talking about some topics that I really want to get into, but I just, haven't had the time for. So I will speak to you again next week and we'll do this all over again. Bye.